Hi.
Where is it? Around there or around there?
You're 5 seconds in front of me.
Oh,
I've
you're
never been here
Matt, are
before.
you?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, right. Hi, I'm Nick.
Hi, Nick.
Hi. First time I met a farmer on a motorbike before. So.
Oh, I'm no farmer.
Oh, right, okay. Yes, you about the pump house.
No, I'm filming here today with Jack Smith. We did a UK potato tour on behalf of CUPGRA.
No, well, it must be another Matt then. I was told.
I'm Max. Sorry. Max.
Oh, right, okay.
I've just done 30 odd miles on a motorbike, so I can't hear anything.
Oh, right, okay. No,
So-
I'm here to see a Matt about a pump house. I guess that's the way in, is it?
Yeah, unless you want to ride on my bike.
You find this alright?
I did. Well, I just embarrassed myself because a lovely chap came here and said, "Are you Max?" I thought he said. And he said he actually meant Matt, because I'd just done half an hour on the bike. I thought, so he wants me to fix your pump house.
Ah.
Oh no, he's come to fix the pump house.
Yes, a loss adjuster for pump
right.
house fire.
Oh, I can do that. Not a problem.
A little bit out of the, maybe a little bit out of the comfort zone. I don't know. Look at this. We've even got bike parking now.
Oh, I
This is
know.
very-
Do you remember that thing on the
Exclusive, isn't it?
BBC when there was some taxi driver who was dropping someone off, and they all confused the taxi driver with the actual speed? It's like
I can't remember why that was repeated recently, but I saw it on something. I was like, how did some producer somewhere got it in the ear for that?
I did something similar on recruitment years ago. I had the wrong Pete go in for an interview with the wrong company, and he got the job, and he got rapidly promoted to board level, and I never told him that he was the wrong guy. But,
No. Well, that's when things obviously meant to be, aren't they?
it is. Okay, sir. What would you like to do?
Well, I was reflecting on this the other day because we're sort of obviously it is probably our quietest couple of weeks of the year, which is that's fine, but there's always something going on. So we've got here, which is main potato site.
Yep.
We can have a wander through. We can just have a general spot stores. We can have a wander through the grading sheds. Almost saying, come back in 6 weeks and this will be a hub.
Yep.
But that's fine. We could pop down and have a we're going to go and dig some potatoes.
Yep, brilliant.
And we've got some. We can go down here onto the Southerly Fen, where we've got the irrigator we've been running as well. So we sort of do
Fantastic.
digging spuds, irrigating spuds.
We tore upstairs. Just shape and size of the farm.
This is Northfield Farm. It's the main potato hub of Waldersey Farms.
Of the UK. Sorry.
Yeah. So we are doing. The whole farm is circa 20,000 acres. Wow. That's built up over the last 40 years, and we are growing of that. The key part, of course, the potato part, is around 1,000 acres.
Okay.
So 450 hectares, depending on the year.
And is the business really centred on potatoes? Does everything, like how some farms everything's based around a shoot.
Yeah.
But with this farm, that 20,000 acres, everything is central. Everything's working around the potatoes, is it?
Spuds, wheat and spuds.
Okay.
That's often people do ask that. So what's the hedgehog concept? And I think the hedgehog concept for us is wheat and potatoes. Okay. So we want to maximise our first wheat and our potatoes.
Okay.
We've got a really unique situation actually, because most people will rent land. I can't remember what the fact is for UK potatoes. It's something like 75% of UK potatoes are on rented land.
Yeah.
Whereas we have control of our whole rotation.
Okay.
Which is something we've got to play to our advantage.
Okay.
So 20,000 acres, wheat and potatoes be the main crops. Also growing spuds, also growing onions, sugar beet, and some other combinables.
Yeah.
Growing 1,000 acres potatoes. Let's go into hectares and talk metric. So we're between 400 and 450 hectares of potatoes.
Okay.
And we are virtually all for the bagging market.
Okay.
Which actually for me is new. Okay. So I haven't grown for the bagging market before for me joining Waldersey.
And just for those that don't understand, the bagging market, how's that different?
Yeah, the bagging market. So it's for the chip shop market basically.
Okay.
So we'll take in bulk product, store in box or in bulk, but then when we process the potatoes out of store, we're processing them into 25 kilo bags, which will be palletized, sent off to middlemen, marketeers, who will then have rounds on to potato to chip shops.
So that's really interesting, because what's the stat? That 75% of all fruit and veg is sold to supermarkets, but actually that 15% on the basis of a population of 72 million, that 15% that you're serving is still a big slug of business, and presumably it must be beneficial that you don't have to have intricate packing lines, specific bagging lines for specific retailers, because you're bagging up in 25 kg bags. So your model is slightly simpler.
Yeah, I guess that is probably true, although every market will have its demands. Okay. It's quite a competitive market.
Is there?
Because maybe there isn't that differentiation, so you could, your price is big.
Yeah.
Price is very
how do you stand
important.
out in the commodity sector?
But having said that, if your price quality is still key, in that if you get down to those chip shop owners who know their chips, then they will want a specific product to put in their chippers, to put in their fryers. And if they get a few bags of rubbish, you'll soon hear about it. And rightly so.
Because their customers will walk away, won't they? They'll go to
exactly.
Another.
Okay. So that would be probably 2/3 to 75% of our trade as well. We also then work with one other customer who does London markets and those deliberately will go into higher end restaurants, etc. in London, and that is another challenge. But again, they just want specifics. But I think it is something that we do very well, but we always need to get closer to that end customer. Because when it does get competitive, or when there's, like this year for example, when price is going the wrong way, if we've got the bestest product, we'll hopefully see the downside later.
And so your model is unique in comparison to some of the other people I've met, in that you are not renting land. This is your own land, and you're serving a different market. We're stood here in 5 years' time, God willing. Do you think your business will still be following that model? What do you think without breaking any corporate secrets? What do you think the business will look like 3 years, 5 years down the line?
I think that we will have to evolve. Definitely. We would be kidding ourselves if we didn't admit that the bagging market is shrinking. Now we want to still maximise that market, but we are also going to explore the other markets. So I've come from a world growing for crispers, larger processors, pre-pack. So it's can we be foots in a few camps to manage that risk?
And it's a very clever appointment having you in and some of the other exec team, because you look at your collective backgrounds that you're not from the bagging market. So you've got that level of sophistication that you can look at this and say, right, okay, we could do this, but actually in the future we could also do that. So that's.
I think we fundamentally we've got a fantastic team here that have been bagging for a while and know it like the back of their hands, and we have a huge advantage there. But as the industry changes, having some knowledge, skill sets for some other sectors is going to help. Contacts, people, it's about people, isn't it, at the end of the day? So if we can open up those different avenues, it should mean that we as a business are stronger.
Okay, so you're optimistic, you're future proofing the business, you're positive.
Always optimistic. You got to be, haven't you?
Especially in the spud game.
Always optimistic. And well, I think you've summarised it. Always optimistic and future proofing the business. Doing nothing, standing still, not really an option.
The businesses I meet who are worried about the future are actually the ones that prosper because they do something about it, rather than you and I will know, we could sit down with a beer and we could rack over the businesses that are no longer here, and one of the reasons they're no longer here is because they got complacent. They just thought the market would continue to come to them, and they didn't evolve, and the market ran past them.
I mean, one of the reasons I joined Waldersey was because it is ambitious, it wants to get better, and that is exciting. I think, go back to the point I made before about having that unique control of being able to farm our whole rotation is a real strength. We've got to grab hold of that. So the whole soil health, farming for the rotation piece is massive and exciting as well.
Somewhere was exciting for you.
And it's almost like we're going to grow potatoes on that field in 4 years' time. What can we do now or in the next couple of years to make sure that when we hit it with a potato, we've maximised it? Because we've all got potatoes they get their fair share of bad press in terms of soil health, etc. But definitely, if we can manage the whole rotation, people refer to the sawtooth effect, don't they? Even if we drop off a cliff, but even if even if the year in the potato we stand still or there's a bit of soil degradation, if we've built the soil health up to a point for that year, then over the time that'll just get better and better. So I love the spud, and we can make it sing.
And sometimes I feel jingoistic saying it, but it is so true. You and your colleagues are feeding the nation. It's such a staple crop. It's not, no offense to people making ball bearings. You are feeding 72 million people from what you do on this site, and all your colleagues in the industry.
Like you, I'm always nervous about being. I don't want to be too sort of self-righteous. We have to be professional about it. We have the great opportunity. My old man said it. Why did he get into farming? Well, he thought that actually of all the industries to getting into an industry of feeding people that's quite cool. That's
I don't know. It's not like a god complex, but also we've got to be proud of it. We can't. The standard stat I keep on coming out with is that 6 out of 10 kids don't know where fresh produce comes from. And we need to educate them that so we can get them into the sector as well as eating more fresh produce, because it's ultimately good for them.
100%. But if we can work in an industry that's got an entirely worthwhile ability at the end of it, or entirely worthwhile what's the word, aim. Food production is a good aim at the end of the day, and then if we can do it professionally and efficiently and make money at the end of the day, that's a pretty good aim.
Well done. Come on, show off your farm.
So we're actually in the process soon of this is getting a revamp. So almost you can come back next year and see the after as well as the before.
Okay.
So come harvest time,
wow,
this is where the hustle and bustle of intake. Northfield Farm. Well, overall we've got about 15,000 tonnes of storage, of which 10,000 tonnes of that would be on this site here. New grader, 3 years old, and the business invested in the optical sorting system as well, which is brilliant. Has worked out really well.
To the point, is it a game changer?
I think it is, or has been. Again, I'm excited. Relatively new in this role. I'm excited. Some people call it sad, but I am excited to come to see this in action. But a lot of hustle and bustle here on game day, as it were. So this would be harvest peak. This is where it all goes on harvest time, and then post-harvest, when we then put our bagging hats on, the attention switches in here. And this is our bagging, palletizing area. I'm conscious actually. I feel slightly out of my depth when we come in here, because when it comes in here, we hand it over to the site manager Andrzej, who's phenomenal. Him and his team work all through the winter. Well, probably 10 months of the year bagging potatoes. So we'll bump into Andrzej a bit later on. Okay. So these new box stores were all built over the last couple of years, and we're investing in the year to come. So we've got 4 cells here. We're going to put another 2 cells on the end this coming year, which is great. And we'll just open up the end store and just see.
Oh, come on. Crikey. I did see how deep back does that go?
So that 12 boxes total. What's in that? That's for 7 times 7 is 49. It's a 1,000 box store, so it's about 20 rows total when it's full. We'll put the boxes back in, keep them in good fettle, so we don't expose them too much to the blessed Norfolk winters.
I was thinking about that on the way up. The lazy fen wind. Why is it called lazy? Because it goes straight through.
Straight through, yeah. Okay. And actually, so we've been in some of the vintage stores, as we'll call them, and obviously now this is some of our new ones. But actually, it's making the best use of them all. So good store, good airflow. We are, as we said before, virtually all for the bagging market. So we don't store that cold. So our product will be stored 7-8 degrees because we don't want to affect those fry colours. Okay. But if we wanted to, we could bring these stores down to 2 to 3 degrees if we need to.
And a store like this, I'm thinking of it like a big Maersk ship with 18,000 containers on board, where they have to load it individually. Here, is it just one crop, one variety that you've got in, or have you got to program what you're going to have because you know what's going to come out first and what's going to come out last?
Yeah, it's a bit of both.
Okay.
So the best way to do a store is all in, all shut the door, bring it down to temperature, nice and steadily, and manage the whole thing. Okay. Now, of course, then you get field sizes, weather, markets, varieties all get in the way, and then you end up having a couple of stores open because you've got to go in that one for that variety and that one for that variety. So, but that comes down to the management of it to try and get it, to try and plan that, so that we can, as best as possible, load it as one, shut the door, bring it down, and then the whole store can be managed as one. It's a lot easier to manage a store that's one variety, one set of technical requirements.
Okay. And again, does your model help with that because you're predominantly going for that bagging model? So does that help rather than if you were dealing with multiple retailers with multiple different lines?
I suppose it does from that point of view. We would also know, obviously, best new stores, best stores. So we would plan, and box as well, so we would plan to store in here for the longest. So say we're going to bag till next June, we look at our crop, assess all the yield digs, etc., and choose the best storing crop, put it in. Shut the door, bring it out next June, and try and work backwards from that. And our model does help that. There will be foibles in between that always get in the way, but try where possible to do that.
I suppose this is my moment to bring in that blessed word AI. We've been talking about this previously. That would you look, or are you looking at deploying AI into your ERP system or your system at the moment? Could that not plan it out for you? In that you could throw in the stats for the last, because I'm sure you got them, 2, 3, 5, 10 years. And then put in the variables as to what's going to happen in the next year for it to come up with a plan as to how you might have to plan this out. Is that something you would look at?
Yes, we would. We absolutely should. And I'm fascinated by AI as much as I'm scared by AI. I think I'm more fascinated by it than scared by it. I'm aware of it. I'm aware of it taking the skill out of the job. But then I sound like a Luddite if I say that too much, don't I? I think that would be a good example in a logistics situation where AI could, if we put good information into it, it could spit out suggestions that would be that could really help the system. But what I would always want is the person who's using the AI to have that sound industry technical background to be able to challenge the AI, understand the AI, and say, I see where it's coming from, but actually I don't like it because X or Y.
And I suppose we've also got to be cautious that we're not trying to cure a problem that doesn't exist. You've got the skill set here that you've been doing this for a number of years very successfully. It's a bit like, do you remember when RFID tagging came in and there was a big excitement about it within the fresh poultry sector? Where is it now? It didn't work. There's enough examples of people spending millions of pounds, especially in the horticultural sector, to track products from overseas. It just didn't work for that model. So I suppose we've got to be a bit careful that we're not trying to reinvent a wheel that's not broken.
True, but then if it can add something, then utilising it. If not utilising it would be, foolhardy.
What about a CUPGRA conference? We can have someone from AI that understands the sector and just
applications to the fresh produce sector.
Major on potatoes.
That's a good one. There's a lot of There's very many people far cleverer than I that could tell us about how AI could help potatoes. I'm sure it will help potatoes at some point. I just always want to see that technical knowledge in the teams because you can, to a degree there's very little substitution for that technical background. It's a thinking game. You got to think about it.
Bit like potatoes.
I always think this time of year when you've got reams and reams of empty boxes, it's sort of it's all the sort of calm before the storm, isn't it?
Ultimate Lego.
Ultimate Lego. Have you ever stacked a wall of potatoes?
No.
Very, very satisfying. Building a potato wall you stand back. It's a bit sort of like a fundamental. You know, we like digging holes on beaches, but we also like stacking, building walls.
I'm grimacing because of just remembering doing straw stacks with Heston bales and then collapsing. It was all due to me, obviously.
Groundswell, I like Groundswell. First time to go, and I'm glad I went. And there's a lot of good there. And actually, the potatoes under straw thing was about the only application of potatoes there. Not the only application, because soil health is integral to it all. But that's the first time I've seen the potatoes under straw look like potatoes. Rows, beds, lines, which had moved on a lot from when I first saw it trialled.
So that was a collaboration between Greens and Soham and Burgess. So the bit I picked up was that it was it works very well, but you get 50% of the yield. But you can't expect,
which I thought was optimistic.
But you can't expect there to be a success from the get-go.
100%.
It's all about
It'll
being
take
curious
time, won't it?
Yeah.
And that's the key. Just keep trying, and they'll perfect it.
Yeah.
Whether straw's the answer, whether something else is the answer, we'll see. But if you don't have a go, you don't know.
But what was great about Groundswell is that it normally majors on conventional arable cropping, and to actually have something like that and a live demo, I thought was very, very unique.
Yeah, agreed. The only thing I really enjoyed Groundswell. I thought it was very interesting. First time going, learned a lot. I think if you apply almost that CUPGRA mindset, the only thing I would say is it was long on good ideas, opinion. But I think that is fundamentally going to be one of the benefits of regenerative practices, farming, etc. That makes our soil healthier, which holds more moisture in the soil, which means you irrigate less, which means that you just generally get a healthier crop.
And we were just talking before we got in the truck, weren't we, about how dry this harvest is. It's what's your take on the climate? So are you, in your tenure, are you seeing this fundamental change of water, irrigation, and having to evolve yourself as a farmer and as a group of farms? You're having to be very innovative on water as well, are you?
Yes. Water. So I've done 15 years in the industry, and then you try and remember what the different years were like, and you can't remember what the flipping last one was like. But one thing's for sure, since I've been intensively in potatoes for the last, since my 7th, we've had 3, which were the 18s, 22s, and now 25. So that's 3 out of 7, which is nearly 50%.
Wow.
Which have been severe water shortages. We've irrigated every year. So water is sort of, a normal year requires a normal level of water, but that means 3 out of those 7 years. So if we're getting towards 50% of years requires a lot of water, that feels like it's a move in one direction, doesn't it? Now again, I should back that up with some replicated data that proves my point from somewhere, but
your gut feel is
it's who shouts loudest may get the water first. So we obviously want it for crop production, food production, but in Norfolk, Cambridgeshire, where we farm, there's a lot of people, there's some big urban populations that require a lot of water. And as an industry or as a society, we've got to work out who gets first dibs, or actually how we share it best. We're actually on a full irrigation ban here now. You might say, well, how are you watering? So that's you're breaking the rule. We're not, because thankfully the business invested well and got some very good winter fill reservoir storage, and then some very good license coverage for our land, which allows us to keep going. But we haven't got that everywhere, and we've got to keep investing to get that security. Because the difference between unirrigated and irrigated crops this year will be immense.
It will.
Will be immense.
So you're confident with this very dry year that you've got enough water to see you through?
We do, yes. We have good water reserves to see us through in a dry year. The challenge at times is getting the water. Sometimes we have the right volume, but we don't have it in the right place. So then it's getting it to the right place. So that we are in that unique fenland landscape that is that is a network of ditches. Now, of course, if you drop water in at the top of that network, it doesn't necessarily mean you can get it at the bottom of the network, even if you've got the reservoir capacity or the license capacity to do it. So there's a sort of there's a practical element about trying to get it to the right place.
Okay.
So, but all of that is just requiring investment. I romantically always think that most of agriculture's problems could be solved with reservoirs and drainage. It
there's an oxymoron. To collect it in the reservoir
and
let it drain out.
But it's a unique situation that is the fens, and the fact that our business is virtually entirely on the fens. A big chunk of that is also on the black fens, which has their own problems, as we know, with the debate around carbon, etc. But perhaps not for today. But ironically, one of the ways we can wet those fens up is by draining them better. Okay. Because if we can manage those fens with better drainage, 10-meter spacings, a network of boards, etc., then we can be better at managing from below. And if we could hold this field, for example, if we could hold the water table in this field at a sort of artificial level, it would mean we'd have to put less on from the top, because we could have a consistent water table from below.
And help me, what's stopping you doing that?
Investment, infrastructure, significant investment in structure. Not that we're afraid to invest, but looking at paybacks. Also the proof that it would work. Okay. So if we were to, there's a lot of work going on, a lot of people working very hard to determine the exact effects of that, raising that water table. I think there's mileage in it. Okay. But before it's that classic, before you go out and wholesale invest in something, you want to make pretty damn sure it's the right thing to invest in. But water is. I was walking some potato fields with somebody last night, and we were talking about all the different details that go into a potato crop, which are massive. And then you get into season, and what's the biggest variable you can manage is water. Too much, too little, not quite enough, a bit too much. It's you can swing it quite quickly from one way to the other quite quickly. Okay. And the other one, of course, is we know the fens famously aren't flat. So you get to a situation where you've got what you think is a flat field, and then you've got an undulation or a low or a high. The high's too dry, the low's too wet.
Good grief.
And potatoes don't like a double shock.
No.
I'm going to get wet.
So tell us what are these gents doing, for those that don't know?
Two of our great team members are on irrigation today, potato irrigation. So Sam, just there setting off, pulling that reel out. So this is a Briggs VR7 irrigation reel, 650 meter coiled pipe with a gun on the end, which is what you can see just behind the tractor. So he's now unwinding that slowly, because you can imagine that there's quite a lot of strength in that. Yep. He'll pull that. This field is pretty long, actually. This field's probably 500 meters long, so he'll pull 80% of that pipe off there. Chris, the other gentleman, the other member of the team, has just gone off to go and set up the pump, and then he'll put 10 bars of pressure in at the pump, which will give us 8 bars of pressure here at the reel, and the flow of the water will then turn the turbine and reel the reel back in. Applying it. So at the moment we're aiming to put on 25 mil of water per hectare as a gauge. So that will reel itself back in at around 28 meters an hour. Okay. So it's a fairly steady operation. This will cover 72 meters each way. Sorry, 36 each way, so a 72 meter span. Yeah. Guns are good. Guns are simple. The problem with guns is they get wind affected. So on a day like today, you have to then just see which direction the wind's coming from. Okay. Do you have to turn off and come back later on when it's a bit stiller, that kind of thing? Yeah. But yeah, so intention to apply 25 mil of water. Why 25 mil? It's still a sort of traditional figure. It's an inch, sort of inch a week, but we're not applying it as an inch a week. This crop on a sunny day at the moment will be using, it's got full canopy, it'll be using 4 to 5 mil a day.
Okay.
So we are inherently on the, we were back in here every 5, 6, 7 days, just topping it up a bit.
Yeah.
Always liken it to a bucket. So if our soils are a bucket,
Yeah.
if we put too much water in them, the water will flow over the top and we'll be wasting water, we'll be leaching nutrients, we'll be wasting diesel, etc. But if the bucket gets empty, then the crop can be stressed. And if you check a potato crop's growth in season, you'll normally affect its final yield in some way or another.
Okay.
We're hopefully setting it up from the get-go to have a fantastic yield potential, but if we check it in season via a stress of some kind, the final result will normally be affected.
And my 3-year, 5-year question again, when we're here in the future, do you think you will still be deploying this type of irrigation technology, or will we see drip?
Very good question. We are virtually all, we are all irrigation reels. We have a mixture of guns and booms to try and apply in different fashions depending on the crop. We have done some drip as an alternative method. We haven't invested in it massively yet. Again, because we as a business are we have hubs that have gangs of people in those hubs. It works from a management point of view. Drip, I think, could work if there was an outline block, so you didn't have to go there every day with a tractor. It's quite a high capital investment. It does use water more efficiently. The problem we actually have seen it elsewhere on the fens, where undulations can mean that if you have multiple cycles, turn on, turn off, turn on, turn off, every time you turn off, you might see water drain to the low, and then you get too much water in the low, not enough on the high. But we will all have to use water more wisely. So 25 mil of water, which is, call it 5 or 6 days worth, is 250 cube per hectare. So 250 cube of water per hectare, and we will apply weekly at the moment if it doesn't rain. We'll start to be able to run those deficits a bit higher when the crop gets towards mature or closer to burn down maturity, because we will want to dry the land out a bit, so there's a room in the bucket for some rain, as it were. But yeah, drip will be, I think better, one of the simpler perhaps routes to better water usage, better monitoring, better forecasting, but also it's simple things like it's a windy day, so we'll hopefully turn off. There's some 10%ers before we go for the 1%ers. And if we to a degree, a big part of those a lot of those 10%ers come down to good guys on the ground. If you've got good guys on irrigators, they know the mistakes, they know the errors, they know how to do it right, and they do a damn good job. And if you've got guys who maybe through no fault of their own are inexperienced or something, if you add their mistakes up, that's a lot of wasted water.
Well done.
And that's good irrigation. It often ends up being,
it's an art, isn't it?
it can end up being the sort of the forgotten about job, or the job that maybe the student does, or that's no disrespect to students, but it is an art. There's a difference between irrigating and good irrigating, and good guys, good team members, not good guys, good team members, good guys and girls will do irrigation very well.
What's the crop here?
So we are in a crop of Marquise variety, very popular with the end market of the bagging trade. Makes a very good chip. And actually in the Smith household we are universally agreed that it also makes a very good baked potato.
Ah, okay.
So it's got a lot of fans in our household.
And seed, where do you source the seed from?
Yeah, seed is seed. We always see seed. We love our seed. Seed is good. Seed is integral to a good crop. So this seed is actually sourced from guys we work very closely with in Scotland, and we always try and we want to source seed from places where we know where it's come from, etc. Because good, like I say, good seed, good health, good progeny, definitely has a big impact on the daughter crop. Okay, so we've actually just come back from a couple of days up in Scotland with a guy that we get a lot of seed from, which was as ever a really worthwhile trip. Partnerships, isn't it?
Yeah.
We will routinely take seed from him. He will routinely sell seed to us. He knows his market. He knows what we want. We know what he wants. Hopefully.
And are you possibly trapped in that seed world because of your end customer likes a particular texture variety when there might be new varieties coming along, but you don't want to shock the market if it's slightly different.
It's it feels slightly unique to the potato world, doesn't it? The whole variety and market thing. It wouldn't be, and I'm sure there will be similarities in other sectors. But yeah, there are names of varieties that people love, and you can say, oh, we're growing X variety. Oh yeah, I definitely want that. There might not be very many differences to another one, but they will still definitely want that particular variety. The downside of certain varieties being more popular than others is they might not be the best agronomical varieties or the best to grow.
Which you want.
Some of them, dare I say, the Maris Pipers, etc. of this world, they're ancient varieties, but people love them. But they're not very easy to grow. They might require more inputs, cost more, etc. So yeah, we are trapped to a degree, but then whether it's end customer led or whether, we were talking to some people last week about if you find a very good potato, can you then find it a good home and try and lead it that way? It will happen the other way as well, where people will find a good potato and then want to find a good grower. So you can sort of what does the customer want? Can we grow it well? Well, hold on, you want that? Can we have a chat? We want this. So it can go. Some people would say top down or bottom up.
I'm not going to ask you my question again of when we're stood here in 5 years' time, will this be a different crop? Will it look different? But I suppose potentially it will do, because this is about evolution.
It is about evolution. Marquise has been around for a while. I think in 5 years' time we'll still have Marquise, but there'll be something else as well. Yeah, it evolves. It will evolve. It just evolves perhaps a little bit slower. Breeding technology is coming on all the time, isn't it? Which is an interesting piece. Actually, I would describe this one as a relatively bodied black soil. One of the tricks out here, particularly with Marquise, which likes to grow and grow, is to get the nitrogen management right.
Okay.
So we can hopefully make the most of our fertile soils. Let's see, the boys are doing well. It's dry, but we're back in.
And you did say in the truck, when do you think you're going to harvest here?
So this was actually one of the later planted crops. So we didn't plant this. We were last here. We were about 25th of April. So I would see this as a second half of October harvesting crop.
Okay.
Deliberately so. So this is very low lying on the organic fence. So very low lying. We would be possibly even under sea level.
Yeah.
So we don't plant here till later. We don't want to be in here till second half of April because of the frost risk. So it'll be second half of April. Emerging end of May, and so what are we now? Middle of July. He's been emerged for 8-9 weeks.
Okay.
Still in flower, so reaching sort of peak foliage. They'll start dying back. We would be. When was the longest day? Longest day was 3 weeks ago. So we've probably been at 100% ground cover for about a week, but ideally, in a perfect world, you always like to hit that 100% ground cover by the longest day, but you can't plant all your potatoes on one day, etc. So these will have been slightly behind the longest day, but holding their flower well, holding their foliage well.
And with the exceptional year that we've had, sun and heat wise, are you positive as to how the actual crop is looking?
Yeah, always positive. Always positive. We are, yes. They went in well, which always helps. We irrigate 75% of our crop. 25% of that, 25% of our crop we can't irrigate. We just haven't got water there, so we don't plan to. But actually they went in earliest, so they were okay. They did a lot of their growing perhaps before the real drought kicked in.
Okay.
This later planted crop has all got reasonable water, and because of the hard work of the team, we've been able to keep the water going. So actually there doesn't look to be any drought stress in this crop, which is great. We've got to keep it going because there's potential, so we've got to keep that going.
And in this field, you've got that availability of water, as we were talking about.
We have, as we sit here today. Yes, it'll depend a little bit about what happens in the wider district and whether we can access that water. But at the moment we're okay. But what potatoes don't like is they don't like hot water. If they're well rooted, potatoes don't like hot weather. If they're well rooted with a good cover, we're sort of insulating them a little bit from the effects of that very hot weather. But when the temperatures start to go over 25, and it's incremental, so the more you go over 25, the more stress the crop will be experiencing, and maybe that will start having long-term impacts on yield potential. But because we've watered it well, because we've got a good ground cover, actually the soil didn't heat up immeasurably because we protected it. But there will be a number of scenarios and some of our other fields where they will have experienced a lot more stress.
And there's variables. So how are you measuring that in respect to soil temperature, canopy, density? Have you? Because this is a big thing within greenhouses. There's a lot of tech coming in where you can see that on your phone. So have you got? Do you look at that? Have you got sensors in the field, or is it just sticking your finger in the air?
We'll have a wander up actually and have a look in a second. Yes, it's a combination of sensors and spades and management. So you put them all together and you can make informed decisions. We've had a big push this year amongst the team to capture a bit more data where we can. So come in a field, dig up some plants like this, record it. How many stems, how many plants, what's the ground cover, what's the moisture estimate in the soil, etc. Because if we can compile that at the end of the year, look at what will be trends. They're not replicated results, but they will be trends, and then we can have a look about how we steer those for next year.
So not leading to you, that data excites you.
It does.
You can see that's going to be very beneficial to you in the future.
I mean, we can, like I said, we'll go over and have a look at the probe in a second. So in terms of what we've got at our fingertips, in this field, we can look at. We are in Waldersey Sedge Fen 50. So that probe up there is suggesting that if it falls around about 100, we're at about 70, so we're at about a 30 mil deficit in here, which actually is, you can see the lines, and these are irrigation events as you look across. So we've added 25 mil and chipped it back up. Green's good, yellow's okay, red's bad. In simple terms, and we're trying to. He's coming in here now with 25 mil. We're going to top this back up into the green. As the season goes on, we want to run this down closer to the red. So if we get some more thunderstorms, we've got room in the bucket.
That's amazing.
Which makes a heck of a difference.
And all credit to you and the irrigation team. You can see how proficient you are because of the duplication of the cycles of the peaks.
100%.
You know what you're doing.
What we've done, we've ensured that the guys have got access to this as well. So they can look at it. Now, don't forget, this is one probe in one spot in the field. So what we then must use as operators and guys on the ground is take that information and extrapolate it and say, well, that's about right. Let's carry on. Or actually, well, maybe the wind blew the wrong way at the wrong time, or something happened. So you always want to ground truth it. And we don't have a probe in every field, but we try and put them strategically. We've also got The other system that we've rolled out a lot more this year is Rain Dancer, which is very popular in the industry, which we can, for example, we can tell if the irrigators have stopped moving.
Yep. Okay.
Have you ever done the irrigating?
No, but I do have a 17-year-old son who's doing this in Bury St Edmunds on potatoes. So I think he's actually showed.
Good on him.
Who's
he working for?
RC Brown, Charlie Brown.
Yeah, Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
Oh, good on him. So he's perhaps using Rain Dancer as well.
Yeah.
So this is another field that we'll actually go to in a bit. But as I'm sure you will have seen these ones before, but what this gives us is just that ability to, rather than turning up to a field and going, oh, the irrigator stopped, that's ruined my day because it shut in, you can look there and get a message or check the app and say, that irrigator's not moving, let's go and have a look. Or ask somebody for help, etc. I was thinking irrigation gets a bit of a bad rep. I thought it's quite enjoyable, and I try to instigate that. It's like spraying chemicals. It's water is as important as spraying chemicals. Treat it as an input.
I'm fascinated by the stats that you just shown on your phone, and just visually looking at this crop, how uniform it is. As you say, the fence isn't flat, but that's you're doing a fantastic job here.
What's the old adage that it's hard to grow a bag full evenly? So I always think if you can get uniformity.
So Mark, what's different about this business? And just I'm going to lead you a little bit.
If you think I came out of Syngenta as my last job, there's quite a lot of difference to this business to Syngenta.
But that's why I think this is. I was saying earlier how it's such a unique thing that this new exec team that's been formed here, because you're all from slightly different spheres within the sector. You've got a degree of sophistication. You've seen a lot, so you can bring a lot of value to this business. So is that what attracted you to come here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, farming's in my heart, and that's what I'm passionate about, and I was always passionate about that when I was in Syngenta.
Because just to reiterate, you come from farming stock.
Absolutely, and I still farm at home.
Yeah.
So my wife and I, we set up our farming business 5 years ago next to my father's, but this is the big job, and yes, it's very different to what I was doing, but I still have that corporate interaction into Royal London as the owners of Waldersey Farms, and there is a big investment plan, a big strategy for this farm, and so making sure that we've got the right investment appraisal and we're doing things in a well planned and executed manner, the sort of stuff I learnt to do in Syngenta. That's got to come here,
because that's why I see this being very mercurial, because you and I will both know examples where funds have got very excited about coming into this sector's newbies, and they think it's quite easy, and they invest a lot of money, then they realise actually what's this weather thirst, and all these amazing tales of walking into retailers saying you are going to pay us double-digit margin. That's never. So actually to have your experience both on a corporate basis and the proverbial soil under your fingertips.
Yeah, it's very easy to think you've bought Clarkson's Farm on steroids with Waldersey Farms when you're sat in 80 Fenchurch Street, and already we've been going through these periods of learning when we're looking at investment appraisal, the risk analysis, sensitivity analysis that we do. That understanding is beginning to come forward.
Okay.
But the appetite for investment is still very much there. It's a well-performing business.
Yeah.
We think we can do more with it, with broadening the enterprises. Yeah. And there's some really good opportunities here.
Yeah. Okay. And would you be looking for collaborations?
Partnerships.
The people that are dialed in. What if you were in? Who would you be looking to partner with, collaborate with?
Well, we've still got a lot of loyalty to local businesses and to making sure that we partner with local businesses wherever we can. And that there are some that are going to benefit from the sort of investments that we're looking at doing, and that is a key part of our strategy. It's not to be an island amongst a group of family farming enterprises. It is to be involved in the local community and contributing, helping them to contribute to their businesses as well. But it's also about thinking differently about the enterprises, thinking big, but with an understanding that still at the scale that we're at, we're not able to control the markets or control our output in terms of prices necessarily. So we've got to leverage that scale into other enterprises to build things like this circular energy economy internally, and also build a potato business which is really resilient. It's the absolute core of our business, and it must be more resilient than it is now. We're really focused on, bagging trade, chipping potatoes. How can we make that more resilient? That's key to our strategy for the next 5 years.
Okay, and those investors that are thinking about coming into this sector, agriculture, horticulture, fresh produce per se, what would your advice be to them?
I think if you're coming in for food production, then you need to focus on what the market dynamics are of this, and the fact that the UK is a relatively small player in the global food industry. But I think if you're coming in from a natural capital perspective, those opportunities are really quite significant, particularly when you think of it from carbon, from the biodiversity options that are out there, and you think of the multiple land use perspectives that we've got, then there is a very interesting and dynamic way to think about farming in amongst all of that. Now, our policy is we will not let the nutritional calorific value of what leaves Waldersey Farms decline, but we are going to think about other land use options that help us to address some of the issues that we see on the fens of peat degradation, farming's issue with carbon release, all of those things.
You are custodians.
We are custodians of this, and we want to make sure that we really do take some big steps in and bold steps in addressing some of farming's challenges with it. But we have to underpin that with profitability.
Yes, absolutely. Profitability is not a dirty word. I keep on coming back to this quote of Princess Anne at the Oxford Farming Conference a couple of years ago. I've sat here all morning. No one's mentioned profit. Profit is not a dirty word, because we all need profit too.
Absolutely.
And these investors that seem to be major on, they want to come in here to do good, but they also need to see a return. So,
and they see the opportunities for that, and they also see that, compared with the investments in London property, Cambridge property, shopping centres, this is quite a balance to some of those investments. They have totally different dynamics, those. And so whilst the natural capital fund is a relatively small part of what we're involved in, actually there's some complementary things, putting in anaerobic digesters, for example, to feed gas to our clients or tenants in London. There's real opportunities there for us.
So you're optimistic about the future?
I am. On this farm, if you can't be optimistic about the future on this farm, it's a struggle to be optimistic anywhere else.
Okay. And to wrap up, before we get washed out by the incoming rain, what's your favourite fresh produce?
Oh, potatoes, for sure.
Oh no, someone's going to say asparagus. Someone.
You've got to go to the chins to talk about that.
Stop it. Mark, thank you very much. Really, very impressive. Very impressive. I'm really excited for what you've done now and what it's going to look like 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the line.
Yeah, it's
very exciting.
It's really the strategy is now coming together. We've been in the business. Well, I've been in the business since September, and Jack's been in since middle of January, and the board, that's been changed. We've got a fresh set of eyes on the place, and it is really quite exciting where we all want to take it. And actually, the team are also right behind that story, and really, very supportive and really working hard towards it. So it's great.
Mark, thank you very much.
Okay.
Very well. I'm Max.
Andrew,
Nice to meet you.
nice to meet you. A motorbike?
Yeah, do you want to ride?
No.
Come on, hop on.
I love motorbike.
You move on that? Like
But they were waxing lyrical about you, about how good you are and what you do, and that's why I was very, very keen to meet with you.
That's good.
So your background? Sorry, I interrupted you. Your background in the industry?
Yes, I'm at the minute pack house manager, and I've got ongoing job will be potatoes manager, and we'll be looking after the stores. And hopefully in the future, with Jack help, I can be more involved in the land planting and stuff like that. That's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in the potatoes. I'm big potatoes.
Oh yeah, okay. But it's a big operation. So
Yes.
your role is a big role as it is.
Yes.
Running all the pack house.
Yes, I look after the graders also. So we usually got 3 to 4 graders on the go when we're lifting potatoes. So all maintaining little repairs and checking the quality, which is bruising. So that's what I'm doing.
And do you find your role is getting easier because the amount of tech that's coming in? You've got the amazing optical grader. That must make it so much easier.
Not really easy because we increased the acres and there's always some more to do.
So you've got more volume. So there's just
Yes.
okay.
I would like to keep expanding. I love that.
Okay.
I love potatoes. So.
Okay. And that technology, that machinery that you've got, do you think it's sort of reached a limit, or will there be more coming in, more robotics?
We've got one grader with optical sorter, which has helped a lot. Us doing all foreign objects. Hopefully, we can get 360 cameras, which doing the potatoes as well. So that can see green potatoes and rods and stuff like that.
Okay.
There's some more technology there.
Okay. And so that means you could handle more volume.
Hopefully, yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. At the minute, for that big grader, we could put up to 500-600 ton a day, easy.
Crikey.
That's just for the one grader.
Right. Okay. Well, I think you're underselling yourself in some respects. Because potatoes, I used this example previously. It's not like potatoes are ball bearings. Every potato is different.
Yes.
Every
yes.
potato off every field is different.
Yes, every variety, different lands, soil type make a different. I mainly focus on the damage. I don't like seeding damage.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm doing daily. Now we try to be doing morning and afternoons more checks from the harvesters and the graders. They like eggs. You can't drop them too high. You can't squash them.
Yeah.
So people don't understand that, but if you're in the job, you know.
But that's what's going to be exciting if you get more involved with Jack in the field work.
Yes.
In that you'll be able to guide, advise that team to make sure everything that has been harvested correctly, so it's even easier for your team.
Yes.
And the pack house element.
Yeah, because everybody think the storage and like packing process is hard, but no, I think if you do the job properly in the first place, that will storage properly in the storage. So if you're not lifting in the wet condition, not let them go on wet, cool them down all the time, and cure the skin, they'll keep fine unless they've got any disease in it. So that's again coming to QC, the seeds and all of that.
Yeah. Team. It's all about team. How do you keep your team motivated?
The most is full time, and we know each other and we work for a long time, and really you don't have to stand behind the bag and tell them what to do. And like I say, we've got graders everywhere, and you get the phone call, or this potato's got some pest damage, slug damage or something, so you're not there, but they still let you know. So we've got a really good team, the full-time staff, so yes, that's helped a lot.
Yeah. I think this man's very modest, isn't he? I can't think of anything more tricky than managing a team on a production line, especially at top of season when it's really pressured, and you've got all that product coming in. It's a difficult day. It's a difficult year. That must be very, very difficult to keep that team motivated.
Yeah,
But
especially after all these hours when everybody gets tired. You know, we're doing well. We'll keep improving every year. So hopefully we keep going that direction.
Yeah, and we were talking about it earlier. We have to remember that what you guys are doing is so important, because you're feeding 72 million people within UK. You're feeding the nation.
Yes, we're expecting over 20,000 tonnes this year.
20,000.
Over 20,000.
Right.
So a lot of potatoes.
Yeah, yeah.
To handling and storing and bagging.
Yeah. Right, I'm going to ask you a very difficult question. You've got to be very careful how you answer this. What's your favourite fresh produce?
Potatoes. Definitely.
But someone's going to say avocados. Someone.
No, potatoes. In my house, that's how we grow up. Used to be roast potatoes, mashed potatoes, a lot of mashed potatoes, chips.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well done.
When I start the job, everybody been telling me, well, you hate potatoes after 1 year, but I still love it.
Yeah. Because they do that thing in the Kit Kat factory. I don't know if they still do it. That when you the first 24 hours, you're allowed to eat as many Kit Kats as you like, and that puts you off Kit Kats for life. But that obviously hasn't put you off potatoes.
No, I still love it. It's like today, we had some fish and chips, and I started eating them chips, and there was a few of us in the room, and I ate them, looked at them, I say, they are called, and we walk out asking the van what variety, and he say that's a cord.
Oh,
so,
get out of town.
We had our health and safety meeting this morning, and we had a chip van come down to give everyone lunch. And picked out that it was the neighbour's Accord potatoes.
Oh no, send it
van,
back.
So
Not the neighbours.
Stay away.
Anything what we're growing and storing, if you bring me potato, I can tell you what variety it is, definitely.
Well,
very little I get it wrong, but the most time, I have to cut it open and look on the skin.
I can see your mastermind in the autumn. Your specialised subject is potatoes, and you have to do a taste test of a dozen different potatoes.
Andre's bad news at about 4 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon when he's having a fry up of the different samples, and there's some salted, thick, triple cooked chips start coming up from down below, courtesy of Andre.
Well, normally, sample them before we send them to the customers. We fry them as well, so make sure they're good for the job what they're going for.
And it'd be rude not to eat a couple.
Yes, you have to. You have to try your own product.
Where are we now, sir?
Putney Hill Farm, just on the outskirts of Prickwillow. One of our slightly more outline blocks, but a lovely ring fence block. Again, organic soils. Storage on site, reservoirs on site, so good infrastructure, which is great. A couple of fields of potatoes actually either side of the reservoir. Last got one planted. More of a mixed crop. This, for one reason or another, has got some heavier bits in it where the crop struggled a bit, but it's warts and all.
So again, on the basis it's been a really tricky year, are you pleased with the way? To me, to be uninitiated, that crop was fantastic.
Yes, very pleased with how it's turned out. Possibly it is showing a little bit more stress because of the year. But one of the reasons that it's not showing a lot of stress is because we've been able to give it the water it wants. Because of the provision that we've got here, which is great.
Question: collaboration. If there's people dialed in here that want to find out more about the business, about the sector, and they want to assist you all in your journey of what you're doing, who would you like to talk to? Who would you like to collaborate with? Whether that be politics, whether that be suppliers, whether that be ag tech, who would you like to have conversation with? Who would you like to collaborate with?
I'll think about that one for a moment. I think actually experience has been collaborating with our customers is always very useful, because there's no point going off down a journey that they don't want us to go on.
Yep.
Collaborating with breeders,
well done. Yep.
is essential. Had some very interesting conversations recently about some of the potentials of potatoes.
Yeah.
You start looking at, well, can you breed a high protein potato, those kind of things.
Okay.
All feasible according to the guys who are much cleverer than we are and can make it happen with the relevant investment, etc.
Yeah.
So collaboration with breeders, collaboration with researchers is great. The biggest challenge we often have is applying that research to the ground, as it were.
Yep.
Bringing it back to on the ground growers like us, and that is bridging that gap between research and applied. That I would love to collaborate with people on that.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. And business, have you changed at all in a positive manner from what you have learned, from your learnings from being associated with CUPGRA?
Yes, either changed or changing.
Okay.
So I got quite closely involved with CUPGRA.
Let's lean against the bike.
Leaning against the bike, indeed, yeah. I've got quite closely involved with CUPGRA in the last couple of years. Originally, simple things that it was an East Anglian-based organisation that was close to home, with growers that were close to home, and we could talk with neighbours, etc., about potatoes. But actually, having joined, I've then got much more aware of what the other things are that they can do, or that they try and do. Fantastic history, fantastic pool of research, historical research, and have done a good job of applying it. As Debbie will always remind us of where it came from. But for me, as a grower, we need to do more of that.
Okay.
I'm sure you see it as well. The volume of academic research out there that is incredibly detailed and carried out by some incredible minds, but is too far removed from reality.
Okay.
I see CUPGRA as having a massive role in bridging that gap.
Yeah, well done. Okay.
But both ways.
Yeah.
Taking the problems that growers have, growers, processors, seed breeders, etc., taking their problems and finding solutions.
Yeah.
And then maybe the other way as well. So finding the solutions that maybe are being researched and found out, but aren't then being communicated with the farm gate, as it were. CUPGRA could do a lot. Could and does, and has got a big role to play with that.
Okay. And conference? Would you like to see more at conference? What would attract you and perhaps some of your peers that haven't been previously? What would attract them to come to conference?
I've done two conferences now. I haven't done more. It's purely just life getting in the way a lot of the time. But a fantastic 2 days. A, networking, B, catching up with friends, and C, getting the grey matter turning about what are we doing, why are we doing it, and what can we do differently. There's always a space for insight into potatoes, what's the current world of potatoes look like, and then sitting around with industry colleagues and discussing how we can do it better. There's always a place for there's always a place for grower insight or profiles. There's always a place for profiles of people who are doing it and understanding how they do it. It's great when people are prepared to share their experiences, and then that stops you perhaps making some of the mistakes that they made. You made the comment earlier, and actually I can't get away from the thought that actually external insight, other industries, that would be very interesting. Because it is a big world out there, isn't it? And the problems that we have are probably replicated in other industries. In fact, they're definitely replicated in other industries. And what have they done about it?
And to wrap up, how can we attract more people to become members of CUPGRA, do you think?
We as CUPGRA have got to communicate why people should become members. So there is a big communication piece from the CUPGRA side, but there's as to what benefits can be. Somebody once did describe it to me, and I think they're absolutely right, that it's priming the flywheel of potatoes. So for our subscription, it varies depending on how big you are, and actually it's pretty fair. So we're a reasonable sized grower, so we've got a reasonable subscription, but not an obscene subscription. That goes into a pot that's filled in with lots of other people's money into that pot, and then that pot becomes part of a wider pot, and suddenly the funding funding research, and that's quite exciting. The skill then is taking that money, funding the research, and then bringing the research back and presenting it back to the original subscription payer. So how do we increase membership? We communicate why better, and then communication every which way, isn't it? But I think we've got to get more coal-faced potato industry members. The potato industry has definitely lost out on. The potato industry has definitely lost out on elements of funding because it hasn't had unification. We won't go into the ins and the outs of the HDB or lost to HDB, but we've lost out on funding as an industry because we haven't had a unified front. So there is advantage in that, for sure.
And there seems to be a significant number of great positives with you all being aligned, associated with CUPGRA. I'm struggling to find any perceived negatives. It's just a bit of tweaking in the respect of the conference, a bit more outdoor events to attract the younger individuals, so it's not overly scientific, and that. I've got to go for a big word. That transposition between R&D, academia, and actually on the ground, where it's going to make a difference. But it sounds all flexible.
The conference is a fantastic focal point. You're going to talk to a load of potato people about potatoes, learn a load of things, sit at St John's College banquet hall and a fantastic dinner is a great focal point. But actually, that's almost the romantic side of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then you can get into the interesting bits. Let's get to the AGM. Let's talk about some real results.
Yeah.
Get some in-field stuff in season, and see what's actually working on the ground. We've got to be careful, I suppose, that we don't spread ourselves too thin. There are other organisations out there that do great jobs of communicating, maybe more, rates and dates as we talk about, that the agronomy of it. And maybe I've looked for more of that from CUPGRA than perhaps they can give. There might be other. So then it comes back to that partnership thing. Who can CUPGRA partner with that maybe gives grower members the rates and dates that they're crying out for, the latest and greatest, but that actually maybe also gives the rates and dates type organisations more of a more insight into research and information to inform those rates and dates. Because so it's getting that balance that will be. That I have no doubt that we can get that right. We can get that right. And that's it's a great organisation to be part of. Great groups, etc.
Jack, thank you very much for this afternoon. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and I look forward to coming back and seeing Andrzej. Get a full close to
it would be if we could get once we get some dates for the finalising the projects. If we know it's going to be done in March or something, then we get back.
I'm only 50 minutes down the road.
Exactly. And like I said, we'll get some triple cooked Andrzej chips. That'd be good.
Boom.